Howdy guys, and good morning. Electric Cowboy checking in. So I want to run through some of my favorite country artist brand collaborations. I've seen quite a few popping up on the news recently, and I just want to list my favorite ones here, from Chris Stapleton, Thomas Rhett, Parker McCollum, and a few others. So to kick it off, Chris Stapleton and Filson. When this came out, I thought it was the coolest thing because I'd followed Filson for quite a while before. They had a couple stores in London back when I lived there, and they're from Seattle, and they make actually functional hunting gear, so fishing gear, gear that you can wear out in the woods. It's a little bit more functional and practical, and then they have their more staple traditional wear, so like their Mackinac wool jackets and their kind of Alaska shirts, I think they call them, which are very thick, hard-wearing, more traditional Western shirts with really cool designs, but they're super high quality and all made in the USA as long as like the main staple pieces are. So I thought that was super cool. And Chris Stapleton, they're both very traditional brands, as in Stapleton's brand, and mixing them together, they both have new tricks as well. Chris Stapleton's come into this new country scene that has branded himself with that kind of old persona way, and so has Filson with their kind of duo line of practical and tradition. This collaboration consists of a wax canvas duffel bag, and it's called the Traveler Collection, which I thought was quite cool. So that's the name of Chris Stapleton's album he released back in 2015. Chris Stapleton says, being a long-time admirer of Filson, I saw an opportunity to collaborate and bring back some of the old patterns I loved. And I thought it was very cool. Even on the website, if you go down to it's a Chris Stapleton collection, all the imagery and the photos are with Chris Stapleton with the bags on set, which I thought was quite cool. They also made a t-shirt, so I think there are 3 bags, duffel bags they made with this, and I think Stapleton was quite hands-on with the products. From touring a lot on the road, he instilled some of his favorite, elements into the bags that he would use, that we would want, like a special boot compartment that he didn't want to get the rest of his clothes dirty from, and then a kind of everyday rucksack, I guess, when he's maybe in a new city, in between shows, he can walk around with and not take all his gear with him. So I thought that was very cool. Apparently they are releasing a signature cruiser jacket, the wool shirt, the Mackinac wool, and I think it's a blue color, which would be quite cool. So stay tuned for that. They're not cheap. They're around $500 for the bags, but that's Filson, and they're made in the US, which I love. So supporting American brands, which is very cool. So next one, Parker McCollum and Lucchese. This is a cool one. Lucchese, a very premium brand, and Parker McCollum has quite a clean premium image. He is a Texan-born country singer, and so is Lucchese. So I think they paired their like-minded upbringing and foundations through that. They made a collection of, I think, 4 pair of boots, 4 belts, some hats, and t-shirts, which are really cool. The belts are really cool, which I love. McCollum says here, my goal was for these boots to feel like me, so I approached it in a way I write my music, just like my songs. I wanted to create something that people can see a bit of themselves in, that would feel timeless and would inspire folks in their day-to-day. McCollum said, something Lucchese is really good at. McCollum also said that he'd never wore a pair of dress boots before he did his partnership with Lucchese, which I thought was quite funny. So now he has probably too many dress boots he knows what to do with. I do like the cap though. They came out with a really cool flat cap. It's like a dark navy cap with the Lucchese writing across the top, and I thought that was very cool. These are expensive though. They started around $800, and then the most expensive pair is $3,000, which is Lucchese. So I don't know if that can vouch for that, but yeah, they're expensive. Definitely in the collaboration space, but they are very nice boots. Next one, we have Thomas Rhett and Tecovas. I love this collaboration. I've been a big fan of Tecovas for a while. They were one of my sponsors on my tour last year when I rode across America. I'm actually wearing a Tecovas shirt right now. They do not sponsor this video, not yet, at least. But I thought this was a cool collaboration. Both quite understated brand, Tecovas, in the way they are slightly redesigning Western wear in a more kind of urban element and urban style to be more applicable for everyday wear. Thomas Rhett, he's more of an understated guy. He's not too flashy. So they made a limited edition collection with 6 boots, and all the boots are named after members of his family. So he has 3 men's cowboy boots and 3 women's cowboy boots, which I thought was really cool. And he's got some trucker hats and some t-shirts also. So Thomas Rhett said here, it all just really resonates towards my style and the style that a lot of the folks coming out to our shows are wearing as well. So I feel like it's a really cohesive line from the boots, from the tees to the hats. Absolutely. Thomas Rhett also said he's an understated guy, so he didn't want his logo or his signature, branded on his boots like the Lucchese McCollum ones. So what they did, they ended up putting it on the bottom of the sole. I guess the last place you're going to find it, unless it's on the inside. But that was quite funny. So yeah, it's inlaid into the leather and rubber. So you can get them on the Tecovas website. They're around 300 to 400 USD for those. Next up, this is probably the most recent country artist collaboration I've seen, is Cody Johnson and Wrangler. I could have seen this coming. Wrangler's a hardy, typical Western wear brand, and Cody Johnson is the epitome of kind of cowboy cool. I think, he is a former rodeo cowboy himself, grew up the lifestyle, and then transitioned into a country star. And I think he's a very, very humble guy. And you can kind of hear in his songs, he's a family man, and just a generally really nice guy. I imagine he'll be just a really cool guy to hang around with. So he's been an ambassador for quite a few years, and he's worked closely on the designs himself. He wanted the collection to have specific fabrics and patterns that would be functional for him in concert when he's performing, and for people out on the range, either doing rodeo or actually ranching out on the field. So they are a tailored fit, milted cuffs, hidden button-down collars, logo buttons, and gross-grain neck ribbon. I don't know what that is, but I'll probably put that up here. Cody says, these shirts are designed to make you feel like a cowboy and look like $1 million. He said, I put a lot of time and heart into every detail and trusted Wrangler to help build something authentically Western and effortlessly stylish. And it's cool. I do like the collection. It's not 100% me, but I do like it. I'm not a big fan of check shirts, but I think there are a huge group of people and community who would love this collaboration, and obviously real ranchers. This is very cool. Lastly, I couldn't not throw this in here. This is Chris Stapleton and Buffalo Trace. I had to have a whiskey collaboration in here, and this again is really cool. And of course the whiskey is called Traveler Whiskey, again from his album. Buffalo Trace is one of the largest distilleries in Kentucky. They are, I think, northwest of Louisville, so a little further up there. And they are home to Sazerac, E.H. Taylor, and Weller, I think, and also Pappy Van Winkle, which is the super esteemed whiskey that is very hard to come by and very expensive. So he partnered with them, which I thought was very cool. And Buffalo Trace have actually, they've done some European expansion now. At the moment, they've opened up a store in Covent Garden in London, and I think I just saw one in Paris, potentially. So they're definitely trying to expand internationally. I think they're realizing there is a need for good bourbon in the UK. So this is a 90 proof whiskey, and it's a hand select batch from tons of different whiskies from the Sazerac company distillery. They experimented with more than 50 blends before agreeing on one, which was blend number 40. So I imagine they tried up to 39 blends, and then they figured out that I would love to try out 39 blends of whiskey from Buffalo Trace. Maybe I can get in Stapleton's shoes one day, or his boots. This was released earlier this year, and it only cost $49. Sorry, $39.99. So bargain. And I think I found one earlier online somewhere in a store in Tennessee near Nashville. So I'm gonna have to go grab that soon. That is it for my 5. One collaboration I would love to see would be Riley Green and Bear Archery. Riley Green, he's a big hunter. I don't know if you follow his Instagram, he's known as Riley Duckman. I actually thought that was his actual name before I realized it was Riley Green. I thought they were 2 separate country artists. But he's a big hunter, mainly archery. And Bear Archery is one of the best compound bow makers in the country, and they make incredible bows. And so I think this would be a really cool collaboration and add some personality around the sport of hunting gear, which I think would be very cool. So those are my 5. Let me know your opinions. What collaborations would you like to see? Maybe we can try and pump them forward and get them going. And yeah, have a great day.